Hello there, everybody. This is Relentless Talk Radio. This is episode 80. We're talking about getting creative here with Hermann Plank from Phoenix Fashion Week. I'm super excited about this episode. So this is Relentless Talk Radio. And Hermann, I'm super excited to talk with you. You and I met about 4 years ago at a Phoenix Fashion Week event. And I've been wanting to have a conversation with you ever since. So I'm super excited to get to do it live today. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for reaching out. I'm really happy to be here with you.
So tell everybody, who you are and what you do at Phoenix Fashion Week.
Yeah, my name is Hermann Plank. I'm an engineer of trade. I work a lot with creative companies, helping them develop their products, work on medical devices, for example, right now beating Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And I always loved fashion. And in 2007, I think I met Brian Hill, the director of Phoenix Fashion Week. I love fashion, as I said, and I saw that this gentleman had something going. I saw his vision, but I also realized there are so many creative people, and every once in a while, the creative people need an engineer. That kind of helps them to keep the timeline, helps them to keep the budget. And I was hoping to join him, and I listened to his vision, and then I said, I would love to join your team. Be part of Phoenix Fashion Week just as an advisor. I don't want to get paid. I just love fashion, and I want to see fashion growing in Arizona. And that's how we met. I think the first Fashion Week I attended was 45 people, only friends and family. And now we, you see the background here. We have about last time we had about 1,200 people on a Saturday.
It's really awesome. I met Brian in 2011 and was really impressed with his vision and just really what he's trying to do to bring fashion in a meaningful way here to Arizona and Phoenix in particular, and how committed he is to education and having young people level up in a very responsible business practice kind of way. And I think sometimes us creatives can be kind of fluffy and how we do stuff. And I love that you said that you could see why an engineer would be important, that because it's the details that make things happen sometimes. And I really appreciate that. He's just a very dynamic young man who's just really worked very hard to create something that's very meaningful here in Phoenix. And we're really blessed that he's done that. So good for you for noticing that. I saw the same thing in him. So why other than the love of fashion and the wanting to see fashion grow here, why would you personally want? I mean, you're an engineer, and I understand that engineering is actually my cousin Barry was on last week, and he was saying that engineering is kind of like the science of the mind. It's definitely being able to take something on paper and make it happen and break it down to pieces. And it's really actually a very creative process. But why would you choose Fashion Week as opposed to any other endeavor?
Well, it's kind of maybe a little bit the left brain, right brain balance for me. But also, besides what Brian does, just on a fashion level, and you mentioned already the second pillar, Phoenix Fashion Week is built on fashion, education, and humanity. So he brings those three pillars together, teaching young emerging designers the business of fashion. They are all creative. There's no doubt about it, but I teach, for example, in our boot camp, a lesson about how to create a business plan, how to write a pitch deck for investors, and lessons learned from Shark Tank. And these are the things that a designer that's normally completely busy about, creating the next season's designs doesn't think about. They don't fail because of a bad design, then they wouldn't be a fashion designer anyway, but they normally fail because of some business issues. And Brian really very early recognized that and put these boot camps out. And when we talk about our style trend show, you will see a bunch of emerging designers that grew into established designers. They are now very successful, and they're gonna show what they learned going through those boot camps. And they are really boot camps. They're brutal.
Yeah.
And they are a lot of times we bring them to the breaking point. They have homework assignments. We have Zoom conference calls almost
Quite frankly,
bi-weekly.
Entrepreneurism is a boot camp all the time. Merle actually is chimed in, and she says, as the previous dean of AI in Phoenix, we loved working with Phoenix Fashion Week. Great job on focusing on education. Now, isn't that interesting? I didn't know that Merle had that connection to Phoenix Fashion Week when you guys both ended up in today's spot because I had people move around this week. So I think it's really
interesting. We worked with the Art Institute. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it's very. And she says that fashion impacts all aspects of life, and it absolutely does. It absolutely does. But I love that you're the focus on. I always say art is business and business is art. Business actually is an art form, and so is fashion. So I love that Brian really has been teaching that, because I believe there's a lot of creatives out there that are successful because of him, because that he taught the business piece of it. So how do you think that you guys have gotten creative during COVID? I mean, we talked pre-interview about a bunch of stuff, and I'd like you to tell the people some of the really super cool stuff that you guys have done to get creative about how, because Phoenix Fashion Week is an in-person, the actual show is an in-person event. But you guys have done stuff kind of pre-COVID that made you ahead of the game. You were doing things virtually in January already, but you also did some things during COVID that you wouldn't have necessarily done otherwise that are super creative. Can you tell us about those?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I talked about the boot camp. Originally, the boot camp was created as a classroom experience. We had 10, 15 emerging designers sitting in Phoenix with one of our partners in the classroom, and Brian would teach, our education director, Alison Callaway, would teach, and then they would bring in their garments and everything. But we really wanted to scale it. We didn't only want to have local designers benefit from Brian's experience, but we wanted to bring it out to the world, basically, so that a young designer in Bangalore, India, can log on during the night and go through a course about how to negotiate with a retail buyer, or how to brand, how to create a new tagline. So we started already, I think, 5 years ago with a boot camp, and about 2 years ago, Brian migrated it into a curriculum that was already fairly digital. And with COVID, we kicked it off beginning of the year already. We have now, I think, 5 or 6 different cycles already of emerging designer digital boot camps that people go through. They just chime in from Zoom with Zoom meetings. They send in their garments for the final exam, so to speak. We sit there like in Shark Tank and rip their 5-minute speech in bits and pieces and critique it, and then that's about it. So very minimal interaction, same curriculum, same information, but just on a broader basis and more scalable, that we can focus on other things. And with that, going into the next step, when COVID hit, Brian said, why only being creative in fashion? Let's reach out to all the other creatives out there. And the first phrase he coined was fashion X music. He reached out to some local musicians and said, hey, we have a big following. We don't have any fashion shows right now. Why don't we do a concert, a virtual concert? And that was one thing. We had, I think, in total over 120 events, Fashion X Music with musicians. We had style summits where we invited some really top-notch stylists talking about their experience. We had a model summit where we brought in a lot of our former top 40 models of the year. They were talking about their experience as models and how they prevailed and how they succeeded all across the country and internationally. We did the same thing with hair and makeup artists, Beauty by You, where we had local salons, beauty salons and stylists giving some short 15, 20-minute lectures about, how to braid, how to change the color, play with colors, put some shadow on it. It was really cool, and we had some huge attendance in all those events, and this is how we literally created a lot of excitement, and hopefully also now a lot of excitement for this virtual style trend show that we had to postpone from February.
I think it's super smart. Anastasia Stock is saying Phoenix Fashion Week is amazing at pivoting. And you guys definitely have pivoted with purpose. I love how you reached out and said, hey, to your artists and to your designers and to your musicians and models, what do you think we should do? And they opened up the door for universal creativity. I feel that COVID has been an opportunity in a way that it's awful. So that being said, COVID has been terrible. The people that have lost their lives and family members, it's just awful. However, I also believe that whenever you have something extreme like this happen, it brings out the creativity in a way that never would have come out before. I mean, I have a family call now on Zoom with my cousins from all over the country. I could never have convinced them to do that. They would have been like, oh, Michelle, stop it. Okay, we're good, right? But now every Sunday, my cousins and I get together, and I'll be out on my motorcycle, and I'll stop and do a Zoom on the side of the road with my family, and they're all over the country, and it's just fantastic. There's so many things happening. I was nominated for the LLS Women of the Year this year. I decided to postpone for next year, but I supported this year, and we had an entire gala online and raised almost $400,000 completely online. Now, moving forward, all the galas will have an online component to it. So now you're not just the 1,000 people that you're able to get into one room. So I think that for Phoenix Fashion Week, this is going to, I can't wait to see what the creativity, this catapults forward. Just, what you guys have been able to create during these tough times and what's going to happen next. Because I feel like the floodgates have opened up thank God for the internet. I mean, really.
Yep.
So
we had to re-engineer our event. It originally was called Spring into Style.
Yep.
It was, so we had about 200 models trying out for 60 spots, and everything was lined up. We have 20 designers that showcase, each one of them got the task to show one trend, like rugby shirts, aristocrats, color trend red, color trend sunlight, orange peel, floral, the super 70s, leather, satin. I don't recall them all, but each one of those extremely talented local designers has that task, and they got 3 models. So we have 20 designers, 3 models, 60 different runway looks. We originally wanted to do it outdoors at Anders, our partner and sponsor, on their lawn. Then we had to move into the ballroom because of the COVID. We had to limit the amount of people attending. The next thing is we had to cut it down. We cut it down to 0. And now we literally have each one of our models with a very beautiful background from Arizona that you will see and recognize. The zero interaction almost, because even the stylists and the hair and makeup artists will go over Zoom and tell the models how to, perfect the look that they are creating themselves.
So they're doing their own makeup?
Yeah.
Wow. How fantastic.
So we want to make sure we follow all the CDC guidelines and the governor's guidelines, and almost minimum interaction. The designers even send the garments to Phoenix Fashion Week, our hub, and the models have to pick them up there. So there's minimal interaction, and it's quite exciting. We're really looking forward to this Saturday.
And the other thing that's pretty cool is the price point for this to attend is really affordable. And, even Tony Robbins, I was just doing a Tony Robbins education last week, and he's doing one of his biggest trainings is usually thousands of dollars to go to. He's doing for like under $400. And he was saying how excited he was that more people will be able to attend because it's more affordable. So the price point on this is $35. So easy.
$35. It's easy. You can even purchase some of the looks through Instagram shopping online.
Wow.
You can do a Q&A. You can do a Q&A, a meet and greet with the designers. You even can do a Q&A with the, we have for each designer, we have one influencer, some local celebrities like Cynthia Sassy from Fabulous Arizona, for example, or Phil Westbrook. And they are dressed in each designer's outfit. And so there's a lot of interaction going on. And we also have some cool giveaways. A former Emerging Designer Bootcamp participant, Stephanie Gentry, she does beautiful portrait and collages from hand drafted from each look. And we give those away as well. And she became famous. She does a lot for even Victoria's Secret, Saks Fifth Avenue. She creates all those beautiful creations there on paper.
Well, so the event is July 11th, and they can just go to phoenixfashionweek.com to buy a ticket?
Yes, or I put it up here above my head here. You can see www. It's still called Spring into Style 2020.eventbrite.com.
Okay.
It's or you go on the Phoenix Fashion Week Instagram site, phxfashionweek.com.
Okay, oops. I'm going to put here on the bottom here. So it's PHX Fashion Week. What's the Instagram again?
That's the Instagram one.
Phoenix Fashion.
It's PHX Fashion Week. No, it's PHX Fashion Week. Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on. You broke up there a minute. Say it again.
It's PHX Fashion Week.
Okay.
I think your ticker is chopping up there.
Yeah, there.
So, yeah, that's the Instagram. There's the link in bio for the tickets, and you can buy them online there, $35. And it's on this Saturday, 7/11, starting at 6 p.m.
That's awesome. So, Hermann, I really want to thank you for your time. I love your background. I'm going to go check out getting a green screen like that. It's pretty cool. And thank Brian for all the work that he's doing in Arizona. And I will be definitely paying attention on July 11th. And I'll be shouting you out periodically between now and then on all of my platforms, and kind of hoping that you'll get some more business from some of the people that are seeing things I'm putting out there. So thank you so much for your time today and for all the work that you do on a volunteer basis.
Thank you, Michelle.
Amazing, amazing contribution to our country, to Phoenix. It's really a no small feat that what you're doing. You spend a lot of time and you do it for nothing. And people like you are the people that make major things happen in the world. So thank you, Hermann, for your heart and for all your hard work with Phoenix Fashion Week and with Phoenix generally. Thank you. And Meryl says, say hi to Brian for her because she's.
Thank you. We're a great team. So it's fun working with him.
That's awesome. Have a good rest of your day.
I will. Well,
that's a wrap, everybody. That's episode 80 of Relentless Talk Radio. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to talk to both of these rock stars. You can come back again every Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30, and I go live on Relentless Talk Radio's business page on Facebook, and then you can catch the replays either on my business page, or you can go to youtube.relentlesstalkradio. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a really great day. And if you're not doing anything on the 11th, I really recommend going and checking out Phoenix Fashion Week. All right, guys, everybody stay safe and mask up, Arizona. Thanks. Take care.